Students, today we will start the lesson number 2.2, the three questions, which is written by Leo Tolstoy. Already in the warm-up we have seen the different types of all the stories, and this present story is a parable. Parable means which is a short story with a moral lessons. It teaches us something. Leo Tolstoy was born in 1828. He was the author of 18th century and early 19th century, who died in the 1910. He was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all his time. He was the very much great novelist as well. He first achieved literary acclaim. Acclaim means he proved his own claim on the autobiographical writer, at the post of autobiographical writer in his 20s with his semi autobiographical trilogy Childhood, Boyhood and Youth. Semi autobiographical means the whole book was not dependent on his own autobiography, his own details, but it was semi autobiographical, halfway. A parable is a short story with a moral lesson. We have seen the different types of stories. A parable usually has human characters. This parable concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers to be the three most important questions in life. So here the theme is given here also, that one king is there, one hermit is there, and the king wants to find out the answer of his three questions. Let us see the line by line lesson. Once a certain king had an idea, if he always knew the right time to begin everything. Here the Leo explained his three questions at the beginning of the story. If he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid, the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake. And above all, if he always knew what was the most undertake, since he was convinced that he was the right in thinking this way. All three questions are explained here. First, he want to know that what is the right time. Then second, what were the right people to listen. And third question, the most important, which to whom he has to avoid when he is to avoid the most important thing to do. Okay, so he was trying to find out the answer of these three questions. Since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made in his kingdom. Proclamation means what? Proclamation means it is an announcement, and you know that at the king darbar in the ancient days, he has a person to announce anything, and that was called as proclamation. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. Okay, so in the marginal question also they have asked what is the right time according to you. Means listen very carefully. Next passage. Many learned people came to the court, because here the author has announced one reward also for that, but they all gave different answers. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months and years, and must live strictly according to it. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand the right time for every action, but that not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastimes. Okay, now different answers, different replies are given by the different people in his kingdom to the king. But that not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastime, do not pass your time idly, means without doing anything. One should always attend to all that was going on and then do that which was the most essential, means which was the most important. Yet others said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. So at lastly all the learned men give the final solution. Here the question is that what final suggestion did the last group of learned men offer regarding the best time. So This is the answer. The last group of learned men said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. That is the answer for that question. And above they have asked that what is the right time according to you. If you ask me, I will say that according to me, right time is the present time. Whatever is going on, do properly each and every action in your life at the present time. Don't depend on the future. Don't have a look of the past also. Okay, so present is the right time for everything, I think. Equally varied were the answers to the second question. Some said the people the king most needed were his counselors. Now the second question started. So the answer for that were given by the people that counselors are the most important people. Others said the priest, others said the doctors, while some said warriors were the most necessary. Some said warriors are necessary. To the third question. Now the third question about what was the most important occupation, what was the most important business. Some replied that most important thing in the world was science, others said it was skill in warfare, others again that it was religious worship. The king was convinced by none of these answers and gave the reward to none. See, the narrativity unity of the all the story is very nice one. It is integrated story. So no thread, all the threads are woven very correctly, and a very fine piece of work or piece of cloth is woven here in the form of story, if you see that. And lingering is not there. The writer or the author did not pass the time here and there, or did not exaggerated anything. Line by line he proceed you further as he express the thoughts and the ideas. The picture arises in front of your eyes, so that's why it is a very descriptive story, and you are mingled, and you are eager to listen the further story, and it is the quality of one of the best story. Okay, so when you are also trying to develop your story, you have to keep in mind, you have to digress your subject, just like the Leo Tolstoy here. He decided instead to go to a hermit who was widely renowned, means very famous, for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest which he never left. He spoke only to common folk, common people. So the king put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell. So he went to the hermit's hut. Dismounted his horse. Dismounted, very nice word. We use specially when we come down from the horse, and left his bodyguard behind. Why he did so? Why did the king go to the hermit in a disguise? Because the hermit spoke only to the common people, and the king knew this. He did not want to risk the chance that the hermit might not answer his questions, so he went to the hermit in disguise. That is the answer for marginal question also. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king but went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak. Frail means delicate. He was a very weak person. And each time he struck the ground with the spade and turned over a little earth, he breathed heavily. Why he breathed heavily? Because as he was working, he was digging. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit. You wise hermit. Now he told the motive why he arrived there. The king told the motive. To ask you to answer 3 questions. Which were 3 questions? How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need? And to whom should I therefore pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? These were the 3 questions that the king wants to know the answers. The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. The king watched in silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, he said, You are tired. Let me take the spade. Means here this sentence shows us that king is very much kind one. Though he was a king, he forget that and he is ready to help that hermit and work a while for you. The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. Handed over is the phrase they can ask you for the 2 marks to use in your own sentence. So underline that. When he had dug 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his question. The hermit again gave no answer, but rose, stretched out his hand for the spade, and said, "Now rest a while and let me work a bit." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. He continued to do his work. Okay. How did the hermit respond to the king's question? That the hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. That was the answer for question, marginal question. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink. Okay, the sun goes down behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, "I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so. If you are not able to tell me the answers of these questions, please tell me, I will go off." Okay. "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. "Let's see who it is." Okay, so now someone, another character come here in the story. The king turned round and saw a bearded man. Who was he? Bearded man. Come running out of the forest. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach. What happened with that bearded man? And the blood was flowing from under them. So he was bleeding. He was a wounded person. When he reached the king, he fainted. He becomes unconscious and fell to the ground, moaning feebly. He was crying also. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. Now they helped the king and the hermit also. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could and bandaged it with the handkerchief and the towel the hermit had. Whatever they had there, handkerchief, they bandaged with it, but the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage soaked with the warm blood and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave to him. So king offered a water to that person. Meanwhile, the sun had set it and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. By now the king was so tired after his walk, the work he had done. So it is obvious that he was the king. He was not a layman. He was not a common person that he will do each and every work and he will be relaxed. Okay, and that's why it is written here, whatever the work he had done, he fell asleep. When he awoke in the morning, it took him some time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently at him, because that hut was very new to him and he was trying to remember where I am. And when he looked to that strange person, he was gazing intently means very eagerly. He was waiting to awake that king. "Forgive me," he said the bearded man in a weak voice, as he was the wounded person. He was ill person. When he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him, "I do not know you, and I have nothing to forgive you for," said the king. "You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who sought to revenge himself on you, because you executed his brother and seized his property." See, here is told what was the motive of that bearded man. He came there to kill the king, but he didn't, because the king did not return to his from the hut of that hermit, and so he wasn't unable to kill the king. So and why he wants to take the revenge? Because the king was executed his brother and seized his property, and that was the reason. Now the marginal question, why had the wounded man asked for the king's pardon? Because the man was wounded, he had resolved to kill the king. In trying to do so, he was wounded and the king saved his life. Hence the wounded man asked for the king's pardon. "I resolved to kill you on your way back, but the day passed and you did not return. So I came out of my ambush." Ambush means the place where he was hiding. "Your bodyguards recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound? Okay, so the king, he was telling the story that your bodyguards are wounded me because they know me as your enemy. If I live and if you wish it, I will serve you all my life. If you wish, I will serve you, I will do your service in my life. The king was very glad to have made peace with an enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. And here we can see the king is very kind, and what was the offer was given by that person, he gladly accepted that, and he considered that enemy as a friend also. He not only forgave him but said he would send his men and his own physician to attend to him. That offer is also given by the king to that person. He sent the physician also. The king then took leave of him and went out of the hut to look for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg for an answer to the questions he had asked. Now, what qualities of the king stand out as he forgave his enemy? As the king forgives his enemy, we see him as a very human person, very kind person he was, and who believes in peace and forgiveness, and one who shows mercy to these who would wish to harm him. Okay, such good qualities that king has. The hermit was outside on his knees sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The king approached him and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." "You have already been answered," said the hermit. Now the hermit is saying that without answering the question, you got that, you don't know. Now he explained how. Still crouching on his thin legs, bending on his legs, looking up at the king who stood before him. "What do you mean?" asked the king. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you would not pitied my weakness yesterday and stayed to dig these beds for me, you would have gone back and been killed by that man. If you might have left the hut, you might have got killed. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man. So whatever action was you were doing, that was the important. To whomever you was dealing, those persons are important, and to do me good was your most important business." Okay. Afterwards, the most important time was when you were attending to that man, for if you would not bound his wounds, he would have died. Okay, without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Means the hermit wants to tell, whatever you are doing in the present, those are your important actions, those people are important people, and whatever actions you are doing, that work is most important business in your life. Okay, remember then, there is only one time that is important now. It is the most important time because it's the only time when we have any power. The most necessary person is the one with whom you are. Now the answer starts here, or final answer. Okay, for you do not know whether you will ever have dealings with anyone else, and the most important thing is to do this person good, because for that purpose alone were you sent into this life. So all the answer are given by that hermit. How did the hermit finally point out the answers to the king's questions? The hermit finally pointed out the answers to the king's questions by referring to incidents that the king actually experienced. Then he visited the hermit with the help of each incident. The hermit explained to the king what the most important time was, who the most important person was, and what the most important actions were. Okay, so these all the questions he answered. Here all the lesson is cleared to you, all the parable is completed. So in your also life, it is important to whatever you are doing right now, concentrate on that and try to do your best whatever actions you are doing. So that moral story, that was the moral of this whole story. All the questions and answers are given Try to learn the hard words also from the lesson. Okay, thank you. Try to subscribe the video as well to get the updated notification. Thank you.